Okay, what's up folks? So today I'm going to show you how to install and run Faircamp on a Mac computer so that you can quickly create and edit your own music streaming website. So the Faircamp tool is what's called a static site generator. What this means is that it's a tool that takes all of your input files, in this case it's your audio files, and it spits out all the contents you need for a fully working website. If the concept isn't clear right away, don't worry, it should be clear by the end of the video. So in this video, we're going to be using the Mac command line. If you're not familiar or comfortable with this tool, don't worry. I'm going to walk you through each step of the process and explain it carefully and thoroughly. So hopefully there's as little room for confusion as possible. The first part of this video is going to be the installation and setup. If you're watching this video right now to remember how to make edits to your site, I'll mark a chapter in the video so you can just skip ahead to the customization tutorial. By the way, I should mention that for this Mac tutorial, this is my personal computer, so some things I already have installed. If the output looks different on my screen, it's because of that. So hopefully there's no major roadblocks along the way. But if you ever get stuck on anything, you can always hit the support email, which I'll link in the video description, or you can check out the official Faircamp documentation on Simon Rep's website. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the tutorial. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is install VSCode. So we're not actually doing any coding, but this is going to work as a really helpful text editor, so we can edit the files in place and just see where everything is at a glance. So what we'll do is we'll just go to the Visual Studio Code download page, and we'll download the version for Mac. Let's throw this in our downloads folder. Open up the zip, and well, it looks like the application's right here. Well, usually it asks you to drag this into your applications folder. If you don't have Visual Studio installed and you want it installed on your main computer, you can just drag it from your downloads to your applications folder. I'm not going to do that though, because as you can see, I already have Visual Studio Code installed. So after we install Visual Studio, we're going to install Homebrew. So this is a package manager. Basically what this is it's an application that helps us install other applications, which is actually a very common practice for most computing environments. But if you've never used this before, this is the Mac version of it. So we're going to go to the Homebrew webpage right here, brew.sh. And what we're going to do is just copy this command here and click the copy button. We will open up a terminal. I have one here. You can also type in your Spotlight here to pull open the terminal. And I'm just going to paste the installation command here. Hit enter. It'll ask me for my password. So it tells you what it's going to install, and then you just hit enter, and it's going to start the installation process. This hopefully shouldn't take that long. And at the end of it, you will be... Well, it didn't give me the command. So I just remembered, so because I already had this installed, it didn't spit out the command that it usually does for the rest of the setup. So I'm just going to manually paste it here. This should show up in the output of the installation. I'm actually just going to run it again and see if it'll give it to me. Okay, so once the installation has been run, it'll usually have this script like pasted down here somewhere near the bottom. Basically what this does is it just creates a shortcut in your terminal so that when you run the command brew, it will automatically call the Homebrew application. So all you have to do is copy this from your installation output and paste it into your terminal, and then it'll set up the shortcut. So once you've done that, you can type brew -- version, and it should show you that you have Homebrew installed. So if you see that, that's a good sign. Yeah. So after we've installed Homebrew, we're going to install Faircamp. And you can see here that we're going to use the Homebrew command from the Homebrew package that we just installed. If you want to see the official documentation for the Mac install, you can also go to the Simon Rep website here and check out the instructions because it's all documented here. So what you want to do is go to your terminal, type brew install Faircamp. And this is going to install the Faircamp package. As you can see, it's already installed on my computer. I guess I'll just reinstall it just to show you what it looks like. Can't hurt. All right, cool. So yeah, so at this point, I believe we can run Faircamp version. Yep, and it shows us that Faircamp 1.5.0 is installed. Cool. So at this point, all of our installation is complete. So now we want to actually start building the contents of our website. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to open up Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to put it off to the side here. And in my Finder, I'll go to my desktop, or it can really be anywhere that you want to put your project folder. And I'm just going to make a new folder here called Faircamp Demo. This can also be titled anything you want it to. I'm going to go to Visual Studio Code, say open folder, and we'll go to the desktop, Faircamp Demo, and open. So click allow and say I trust the authors. So now we have a empty project folder ready to go. So I have a demonstration setup already here, just so I can speed up this whole tutorial process, but we're gonna walk through the setup step by step. So disregard here what's on the left because this is already completed. What's on the right is what you'll follow along with. So the first thing we want to do is create a catalog folder, and that is catalog with a capital C. And then inside of that, we are going to create the folders for our projects. So in this example, in my catalog folder, I have a project called Bike Lane. So I'm going to make a folder inside here, call it Bike Lane. And inside my project folder, you can see that I have 2 songs, a cover image, and this release.eno file. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to copy over our audio and our cover image. Now we will go to the catalog, or just the top level project folder. We're going to move on to step 4, which is, step 5, which is write some config. So Faircamp uses these .eno files in order to specify the information for each page of the website. There is a manual that explains the full syntax of the .eno language. You can find that in the manual that I have linked here. This is what it looks like. There's some reference articles here. But we're going to keep our setup as simple as possible. So here we are, step 5, write some config. So what I'm going to do is I will create a file here. We'll call this catalog.eno. And then in our project folder, I'm going to create a file and call it release.eno. So in my catalog.eno, we're gonna put some basic information. I'm gonna open this with my text editor here just so it's separate. But you can see we're gonna keep it really simple. So first we add our title, which is our artist name. We can add the language if we like. Yeah, I think we can just keep it at that. So really straightforward. Then we're going to add some details into our release.eno file. So go into my project, open up my example here. So as you can see here, we have the title of the project, the date, and this is important because it'll determine the order of your projects on your website. And the cover. So this is just a text description of what your cover is. And this will, show text if for some reason your website can't load your image. And then we just put the name of the file here for the cover. As long as it's in the same directory, as you can see here, as the release.eno file, then you should be good to go. You should be able to find it. So at this point, I think we can build the website for the first time. Yeah, so we'll do step 6, which is build. So in Visual Studio Code, I'm gonna go to my top bar here and say new terminal. This will open a terminal at the folder that we're in. You can see here, this is what we've built so far. And I'm just gonna run the command faircamp --preview. So what this is gonna do is it will convert your audio files into streaming compatible formats, and then it will build the static site assets, which you see here. So this is a very basic, but functional music streaming website that we can actually export and host somewhere. As you can see, it has my artist name. It has a display for my project. I can click the play button. And hear music. And yeah, I copy the link to it. That's not important. So anyways, it's a fully functioning website. Ta-da. Okay, so now that we've built our website, I'm going to show you just a quick command that will allow you to build the website and export it. So come back to your terminal and type Control-C so that it kills the development example. Type clear. You'll notice in Visual Studio Code, and this is visible because we're in Visual Studio, that there's this .faircamp build folder. If I go to my Finder, you'll notice that the folder isn't there. That's because any folder or file that's prefixed with a dot is going to be hidden from your Finder. So you can always, right-click in Visual Studio and say Reveal in Finder, and this will show you where the folder is. But, it can be frustrating if you don't see it by default. So we can run the command faircamp --build -dir and say, we'll just call it output. Yeah. When I run this will build the site, and now you can see that there's this visible output folder, which has our static site contents. So if you wanted to stop here and just host it right away, you could do that. You could just take these files, upload it wherever your web hosting is, and be done with it. But yeah, if you don't want to do that and you want to customize your site further, that is what we're going to do next. So let me close this out. So we're going to customize our site now. So there is a flag here called theming widget, and this will give us some options to actually customize the look and feel of the site. So if I go into my terminal here and I type faircamp preview, and then theming widget. Oops. What happened? No user assigned permalink. What the fuck does that mean? All right, so I realized why this is happening. So, I think the problem is that I have to delete this output folder. Don't know why that would be an issue. There we go. Okay. So if that happens to you, I guess just delete whatever output folder or whatever folder you might have used for your build. Or you could probably just add the flag back in. Like let's try that out. So if I said Faircamp preview, no, what did I do? Yeah, theming widget, and then build their output. Okay. So I guess that works too. If you just, depends. If you want to keep the output folder, you can keep that flag in there. It is more to type, but otherwise you can just delete it. Yeah. And then run that. So once we open up the site with a theming widget, you'll see that there is this now widget here at the bottom of the page. So you can move these sliders around and modify the color. You can also modify the accents. How does this work? Yeah, I mean, I'll leave you to play with this on your own. But whenever you come up with something that you like, you'll notice here that it spits out this theme text body. So you can just copy this and paste it into your catalog.eno. And then the next time you build your site, so we can actually just do Faircamp preview without the theming widget. And you can see now the theme has taken effect. You can also set a custom font or a background image. So if we go to my example here, I have a custom font and a background image. If you want to add something like this, just make a static folder in the root of your project, and then bring over whatever assets you want here. So for our background image, we can put a picture here. For our font, it's important to note that Faircamp only accepts these .waf fonts, which is kind of funny. It's kind of niche. But if you have a font like a TTF font or a, I don't know what the other type is, but you can always go and just search like TTF to WAF. And there's, I use this cloud convert tool. It's probably fine. You can just convert your font here to the WAF format. So I've converted this one here, so I'll drag this onto my static. And then in my catalog.eno, I can add my background image link, which is, you can see here, static bg.png, and my custom font, which is this WAF file. So now, when I run the Faircamp preview, oh shit, I didn't save it. I have to save the file. Yeah, we run Faircamp preview, bang. We have now a background image and some custom font. And I can also, I'll run this again with the theming widget, because you can see here, like, you can change this to be like, more or less transparent. You can change the, the base color of the font, etc. So, there's some ways that you can customize the look and feel here. Again, you can play with this on your own. But anytime you want to export this, you can always just, remember, copy this, bring it over to your catalog.eno. Oh shit, what did I do? Yeah, I mean, you get the idea. Yeah. See, cool. So, now that we have customized it, I'll show you two more things. So first of all, again, I'll mention that there's a full manual for reference. So if you ever need to go and check out like the official documentation, you can go to simonrep.com/faircamp/manual, and you will find here that every portion of the tool is installed. This is like semantics of the tool, reference for the Eno files, the different options that you can configure. Yeah, and I'll actually just show you my personal site. So this is the one that I have. So you can see I've got several projects here. I have like a header banner, which you can set with the Eno files, description. And for some of these projects, right, I also have like collabs, individual descriptions per project, with, links to the homies, release date, etc. So, just have fun with it. See what you can put in there, what works for you, and yeah. The second thing that I'm going to show you is just one more time how to build and export your website. So you can either run just Faircamp, right? And oops. Something wrong here. Custom font. Oh, well, this is just a warning with the current version, because this is actually like an outdated keyword. You probably have to update that in the future, but yeah, as long as this shows up, you should be good to go. So when you run the Faircamp build, it'll show up in this .faircamp build folder. And you can even test this, by the way, if you reveal in Finder, you double click on this index.html, it should open up your site. Oh, but it doesn't, right, because you need to have a server. Well, I mean, there you go, in case you're curious. And you can also run this with the builder argument and specify an output folder, and it'll spit it out in a custom folder here. But yeah. So the next step to get your website live is to host the website. I'm going to put this in a different tutorial video because there's some additional steps that applies to any instance of Faircamp. So I would rather just separate that out. And, if you need to go to the hosting tutorial for any reason, it'll be in its own video. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to hit the support email that I'll put in the video description. You can also check out the Faircamp documentation at simonrep.com. Yeah, have fun with it. I hope that this tutorial was easy to follow. And yeah, as always, thanks for listening.